got a special one today.
I'm excited.
We have an ACE specialist, and that's an Alpha Centauri Expeditions expert.
Wow.
We are going deep into Pandora today.
My favorite park. Can't go wrong here.
Favorite park or favorite spot in a park?
Land? No, it's not, I don't think it's my favorite. I don't know. I don't know about land. I haven't thought about that. But
Well,
it is for sure my favorite park.
and we're about to get our mind blown. Okay, you've seen him before, but not in this capacity. Let me introduce you to our ACE specialist.
Hello everybody. I'm back from the Galaxy's Edge video.
Yes.
That was the last one I was in?
Yes.
Well, I'm very excited to be giving this tour as a self-proclaimed Alpha Centauri Expeditions expert. I'm very excited to show you guys around Pandora.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Welcome to the Valley of Moara, everybody. As the Na'vi say, Wengate Kame means I see you. If you want to take a second to read the sign, very, very nice. It's a in-depth little map of the entirety of Pandora, of what we have here. We did, in fact, just travel about 4.2 light years away from our home on Earth to get all the way to Pandora. And I bet you're thinking, how in the world did we do that? We used some of our Alpha Centauri Expedition spaceships to get here, and yes, it only took a few years in hypersleep, but it only felt like a short bridge walk. Weird how that works. Over here, we've got what is called the Flasca. The Flasca takes all of the toxins in the air and absorbs it and turns it into oxygen, and also sprays out water, as you could see as we walked by. Let's go see the rest of our flora and fauna. Our second plant, these are going to be called puffball trees. They do pretty much the same thing as the Flasca. A lot of the plants here, they take in a lot of harmful toxins in the air and they turn them into oxygen.
They look like cake pops.
They do look like cake pops. They can also be harvested for food, along with these little guys down here. I can't exactly remember the names, but I do know that inside they have a little liquid and they're considered a delicacy among Na'vi, and they do, weirdly enough, taste like pickles. Yeah.
Would that be like a Na'vi coconut?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like their snack of the night.
Okay.
It's a midnight snack sort of thing.
There you go, a little treat.
Yeah. Over here, not any of our plants, but this bathroom is weirdly important to Pandora. The reason it is because it's not in the lore of Pandora, it's actually due to its speakers on top. I don't know if you can see those, but those speakers, they take in all sorts of sound throughout the land, and they change the way that the animals react, especially at night. So at night, all of our animals go from sort of peaceful and, you know, like kind of like deer are in the middle of the day, to more predators and night animals. So as the night goes on, those speakers will then pick up on the sounds and will turn our animals into more predators. And another fun fact is that when there are thunderstorms outside, those speakers will pick up lightning and thunder, and every time it thunders or lightnings, the animals react to it by growling, by screeching. It's really interesting and very, very cool. Right here, we've got our goblin thistle. So these goblin thistles, they are hunched over, they've got a twisted trunk, and they're bluish bioluminescent leaves. There's actually not a lot known about this plant in Pandora. It's very odd that the Na'vi don't really know a lot about this plant, but it is very interesting. It's got a very interesting design. Little Disney secret. They were called the Grinch trees for the longest time, but then Disney was like, you can't call them that because they were afraid of getting sued by Universal. Over here, we have the coveted drum circle. So the drum circle is kind of like a ritualistic area in Pandora. We're gonna see Brian. Nice, nice, nice. Fun fact, if all of the drums are played at once, there will be a pulse of light that shines throughout all of Pandora, and it starts from the drum circle and it'll pulse throughout the entire land. It's really cool. Another reason that this doesn't really work the way that it used to was that there used to be a big old character actor that would come out dressed as a Na'vi, but the drums were so loud that they were able to be heard all the way from Everest on the opposite side of Animal Kingdom. So they had to take out the show because it was way too loud. All right, let's move on to our next thing. Over here, there's a couple cool details about these. So this is one of our totems. This was actually a gift from the Na'vi to Alpha Centauri Expeditions because after the RDA, which is the bad guys from the first movie, came in and destroyed a lot of the land, the Ace was able to come back and sort of fix relations with the Na'vi. So as a thank you, the Na'vi gave this to Ace as a sort of symbol of peace. A Disney fun fact is that these are actually used as the signage for Na'vi River Journey, and over at Flight of Passage, you'll see another one in a little bit. We've got different totems because Joe Rohde, the main Imagineer who worked on all of this, didn't want any sort of big signs messing with the flora and fauna of Pandora. He wanted it to be as natural as possible, and that is a very, very good way to do it. Here we have our Hallelujah Mountains. Weird name, but they are the floating mountains of Pandora. They're absolutely gorgeous, and the reason they float is because of the magnetic fields in Pandora. There is an outer magnetic field on the planet, and it takes all of the rock structures and makes them float. On the side over here, we have what are called vein pods. Vein pods are kind of the equivalent of Na'vi oxygen, so they actually float. They hold all of this oxygen inside of them, or not oxygen, helium. They hold all this helium-like substance inside of them, and once they let go of the helium, they sink back to the ground. And the Imagineers did a good job creating that floating feeling by putting vines and stuff at the bottom. So that's a little cool detail about some of these plants. This is the centerpiece of Pandora, probably the most photographed and the most beautiful area of Pandora. It is just about, just the entrance to our queue is very, very nice. It's got those ridges at the top. There are about 4 waterfalls at the top area. I wish I could zoom in enough, but there is a 4th waterfall that is fake. It is a tire, and it spins. It's painted a pale blue to represent water, but it is not real. It's right about in that area over there. It's really cool detail. You're not gonna see it if you're not looking for it. Very, very cool. All right, everybody, like I said about the Na'vi River Journey totem, we've got a totem as well. I've got 2 wonderful cast members over here, my friends Maya and James. Good to see you guys again. So this totem was given, again, as a gift from the Na'vi to the Alpha Centauri Expedition crew, as just like a totem of peace and a cool little sign that Joe Rohde definitely put a lot of detail into making. So, a lot of you may be thinking, what's the deal? Why are we looking at vines? Well, these vines have some hidden secrets in them, and we're about to show you. And hopefully we're able to get all the secrets that come with these vines. So it looks like Shawna found the first little secret. You hear that frog noise? That is coming from her doing that.
That's so cool.
So on different branches in Pandora, there are these weird gooey looking areas, and there are these sensors underneath this section of the tree. So there's gonna be like little alcoves that you can find. You put your hand into it and they make different noises. So there are 4 of these on these branches. So there's this one there. There's that one that they're messing with right now. There is another one back there on that tree right over there. And then if we come back, there, I believe, is another one on this branch right here. So, yeah. Very nice.
This one's cool.
That is cool. All right, so we're all gonna try this at once. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Didn't make as much noise as we anticipated. Oh, still going. Very nice. All right, so we're coming up on one of our final destinations. We have Pongu Pongu and Wind Traders. Cool little facts about this is, so Wind Traders and Pongu Pongu are owned by a married couple. That married couple came with RDA almost 50 years ago. when RDA took over most of the Pandora wildlife to get, an unobtainium. But once they left, they decided to stay, and they decided to make a life for themselves. They took this mech and welded it together as sort of a peace offering for the Na'vi, since they also gave us 2 different peace offerings themselves. So Wind Traders is owned by the wife. She likes making trinkets, different sort of Na'vi relics, and she decided to open a shop for the humans on Pandora to then get some of those trinkets themselves. Pangu Pangu, also meaning party party in Na'vi, appropriately named as it serves some of our alcoholic drinks. And it's a lot of cool details in front of here. He also likes to make trinkets, so as you can see in these windows, you've got different sort of metals, and he also makes different animals from Pandora out of these metals. Very, very cool. Very cool little unique area. And fun fact, all of these dog tags hanging from the top, all of them are from Imagineers that worked on Pandora. And if you can see in the middle, you can see Joe Rohde's right there. Pretty cool. Little kind of sad fun fact about the RDA mech that we used to have wander around the park. So like I said, it used to wander around, which was really, really cool. But unfortunately, after the pandemic hit, they decided that it was no longer going to be part of the park, just because it was a lot to maintain, a lot to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And obviously this isn't the exact mech that they used. They used a smaller one that could fit a human, and they could actually walk around. But it was decently sized, and it's just kind of a shame, some of the cuts that had to happen during the pandemic. But it's cool to have at least one welded together one as kind of a centerpiece of this little area. On our right, we have Satuli Canteen. This is another one of those owned by a former RDA agent, which is really, really cool to see that a lot of the RDA people who kind of noticed that the bad mining practices and bad practices overall that the RDA had kind of went against the grain, and they opened their own shop. And instead of a shop, they decided to open a restaurant featuring some of the best meals, I think, on property. Besides Flame Tree, I will say that. I will go and take a look at the menu really quick. They've got a few pretty iconic things. They've got steak, they've got chicken, they've got a lot of different bowls, but I think their most popular item has to be their burger pods. A lot of people say they taste like Big Macs, but I myself have never had one, so I'm not entirely sure. Now I'm going to show you the inside of Wind Traders. Wind Traders is a really unique shop. Like I said, it's owned by a woman who was very, very into Na'vi relics, stuff like that. Over here we have our Banshee Rookery. You can go ahead and buy yourself a Banshee and bring it home. And they really squawk, they fly. Not really, but it's a lot of fun. As soon as you buy one, the entirety of the store has to say Siva Ko, meaning rise to the challenge. All right, so this is kind of the final walkways of Pandora. Over here, we've got our way to Africa. We've got a Wilderness Explorer over there. They give you one of the badges, either the Banshee or the Wood Sprite badge. If we come just this way, it just loops back around. Ooh, there is a fun little detail that I can show you in the forest area up here. Over there, there's another one of the totems. It doesn't signify anything, but it is just a cool little thing that the Na'vi have made and left behind. We've got more roots floating up here, and I'm just gonna sneak through here to show you probably a little bit of a grim detail, but this is one of the downed RDA helicopters that was used in the Battle of Pandora, or the Battle of the Hallelujah Mountains. It sits here and obviously it shows how the nature of Pandora takes back anything that you can throw at it. And rumor has it, which is even more grim, is that it is from one of the named characters of the first movie, which I cannot remember her name. But she was one of the ones that helped Jake escape from the RDA as an avatar. It was quite sad to learn that, but things happen.
So Trudy was the character, but I want to give you all this view up on the bridge of the floating mountains. I don't think there's a better themed land on Disney property than Pandora. Especially at night with all the bioluminescent. It really is gorgeous.
All right, so we just came off of Navi River Journey. Brian, what you think?
It's fine.
Yeah, that's a good way.
It's fine.
Well, in a little bit, may or may not have a POV coming out for Navi River Journey.
Oh, it's definitely coming.
Oh, it's definitely coming. And I thought I would just do some explaining, maybe. Yeah. So inside of the ride, there are quite a few different animals and plants that you can see. A lot of the different animals have names, believe it or not. In the beginning, one of the first animals that you see, it's called a viper wolf. Very interesting name. They are very territorial, and they also have pups that like to run around Pandora. They like to terrorize Navi. Another one of the animals that you see is the hexapede. The hexapede are basically the deer of Pandora. They are the prey. They get picked on and eaten up just like that. There are a couple other animals in there. There's one that you can see probably a lot of the time not working. They're called the fan lizards. They are Pandora's, let's say they're just not the smartest animals. They, the fan on their backs, they open it and they just let the wind take them. They're kind of like dandelion seeds in which they open the fan and they just float. They have no sense of direction. There's no way to control where they're going. And yeah, so that's how they work. There are a couple other animals in there as well. It seemed to be that there is a new animal in there. It's could have been there the whole time. They just fixed it recently. There's a butterfly-looking creature. It's pretty big. It flaps its wings. There's a couple new ones in there. I mean, I've never seen it. I don't know if you've seen it.
I have not.
Shawna said she didn't see it either. We also have the very last thing, the shaman. The shaman is one of the most complex animatronics in North America. It is so amazing.
And it was working.
And it was working entirely. The head itself has 60 different facial features programmed into its face, and they're all completely different. And we're getting sprinkled on a little bit here.
We're gonna go find
shelter real quick, and then I'll continue about the shaman. Turns out we did not need shelter.
False alarm.
It was just the waterfall.
Yeah.
It was blowing water on us. But about the shaman, so fun fact, she is anatomically correct. She is also life-size. So she is about 9 feet tall when standing, which is terrifying to think about because if she ever stands up, we're running.
Yeah.
We're out of this park.
That's 9 feet.
That's 9 feet tall. That is not okay. She is so complex, in fact, that her head needs to be reconstructed every 6 months. It's pretty impressive, pretty crazy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Yeah. And they also always have an extra head backstage. Always. And it's very cool. Her skin is very rubbery. She's got different materials on her skin. But for now, she's just a Navi. She's a genuine Navi.
She's doing her thing.
That's the line for what we got.
Fun little fact about the ride itself is the story of Navi River Journey is that we are traveling through a sacred river. I can't exactly remember the name. It is a Navi term, so probably a very long, convoluted name. But the story itself is that we are traveling along a river as the Navi protect us as we go on this journey. So the reason we don't see any Navi wandering around in the area that humans are allowed in is because the Navi gave Alpha Centauri this whole area as another peace gift. They like giving gifts.
Who doesn't like getting gifts?
Exactly. And as humans, we like getting gifts.
Yeah, we do.
So
Can't go that
they
way.
gave us this area as a gift, and in return, oh my goodness, I can't talk today, I guess. They protect the area by just keeping a lookout on the outside, and that's why we can see them in Navi River Journey passing through the little areas on the outside, is they protect this area of the Valley Moara as we go through the river and sort of experience some of the things. And that's why the shaman is the only animatronic or the only Navi that we see on that whole river, is because she protects it while singing about Awa, the god of Pandora. Yeah.
I love it.
A lot of cool little details hidden in those rides. And yeah.
Yeah. So that about does it for this deep exploration of the Valley of Mawara.
I mean, I learned a lot that I had no idea.
Yeah. And what was the coolest thing you
The sensors where we all went and stuck our hands in there, and I thought that was so cool.
You stole mine. Pretty
Oh.
cool. You
I
stole
thought
mine.
you were gonna say
okay.
no, it wasn't
no,
cool.
I'll go somewhere else. I will say I didn't know that the plants they picked specific for the Valley of Mara was to suck out all the toxins and put back oxygen so we can breathe without like the masks and stuff. I didn't know any of that. But
There's a lot more
yeah,
that I learned than just that.
huge thank you to our ace
Yeah,
over here.
woohoo!
Our ace in the hole. We couldn't have done it without you,
I
bud,
know.
of course. And if you're new here,
Like and subscribe.
and if you've been here since the beginning,
Thanks so much.
and with that, we'll see you on the next adventure.
Bye.
Irayo for watching.
Ooh,
I like that. Hey, Ryo.
Means thank you.